Whoo boy, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. It is the day to do the biggest recap we have ever done on the channel. My name is Tanner and welcome to TrueTan Wrestling's mega recap of Fargo, or Cadet and Junior Freestyle Nationals. This event took the word upset and launched it to the moon. It took the phrase storylines and said hold my drink, and on top of all of that, there was just amazing wrestling from the round of 256 to the championship bout. I cannot wait to start diving in and giving my final thoughts on the event, but first be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on my extensive recaps. Also feel free to like this video if you end up enjoying it, along with leaving your thoughts in the comment section below. This is the biggest Fargo event ever, so I cannot include everything, but I will try to cover everything you guys want to hear. Now please enjoy as I recap the best high school tournament in the land. Now where do I truly even begin with this tournament? Well, look no further than the 16U or cadet division with a ton of guys to mention. I love the split in divisions during the high school off season, by the way. 16U is like the future stars going to grow their stock. There's no better place to start in 16U than congratulating Team Pennsylvania for winning their 4th straight 16U title, which speaks to their up-and-comers year over year. California was also in the mention and was ever so closely to taking the title himself, but finished in second behind Team PA, with Pennsylvania just edging them out right before the finals started. Now let's start diving into these weight classes to detail some of the stars on these champ and runner-up teams, along with some other studs. For instance, the lightweight combo at Wisconsin. The lightweight combo I am talking about is obviously Caleb Noble at 88 pounds and Hakoon Peterson at 94 pounds. Peterson would walk away with the 94 title in a pretty convincing fashion in a really fun weight class. And for actually living and being a Wisconsin guy, he actually drives to Seabolt, which is an Iowa club. So that's quite a commitment for him, and I believe he will actually be wrestling his high school career in Ohio. Regardless, he did not make the 17U world team like he really wanted to, but he did the next best thing and won a Fargo title instead. Unfortunately, Noble at 88 pounds did not win a stop sign, but finished in second place in freestyle, right behind Matt Crossan of Iowa. Noble would eventually win a stop sign in Greco at 88 pounds, so congratulations to him there. Also, doesn't it always feel like Iowa has really solid 88 pounders? I don't know why I'm thinking that, but regardless, let's break down Crossan's run to a title. For starters, he won a tremendous final match over Noble 7-6 and also beat Illinois stud Hamila in the semifinals. He also got a win over a great New Jersey wrestler in Esposito, and obviously both of them came back to All-American. Also shout out to Jared Smith of Michigan losing the round of 32 and wrestling back to place third. 100 pounds saw two upset kids making their way to the finals in Keanu Dillard of Pennsylvania facing off against Michael Romero of California. Romero had himself a tournament, tech falling in the quarters and semifinals before winning a stop sign over Dillard 13-4 in the final match. And now we can finally move on to 106 pounds where we could talk about one of the biggest storylines of the week in the Kentucky Stars of the Rainey brothers, putting the great state on their backs and carrying it through this tournament. We will get to the bigger of the twins a little bit later, but first congratulations to Jaron Rainey for taking home his first stop sign during the first summer of competing in the style, along with also winning Greco-Roman at 113 pounds a few days later. Jay and Rainey beat very solid and crafty returning champ Seth Mendoza of Illinois in the finals. Before wrestling Mendoza, he smashed through the competition. He tech followed Cohen Byrne of Idaho, who made the finals of the juniors tournament, along with tech following a former Fargo champ in Donnelly of Oklahoma. We also all know Mendoza is a great competitor. He wrestled at Who's Number 1 and won Fargo before, but Rainey's style was just so aggressive and advanced at the weight class, and no one really stood a chance. Now before I talk about the 113 pound champion, I really want to acknowledge that California had 4 All-Americans at this weight, which is just insane. But now to talk about our champ, Wisconsin took home their first stop sign of the day with Killian Warburg, clearly showing he has made huge jumps in levels, winning it all here, wrestling a great tournament respectfully. Now 120 pounds in 16U, I think everyone had a lot to say, and obviously I do too, so strap in for the ride. Coming to the weight, it was the big four, along with several other studs. We had world champ Bo Bassett, Marcus Blaze, an Ironman champ, and undefeated in the Ohio State Championships, Anthony Knox, a Super 32 champ, that bumped down to wrestle Bo Bassett, and now he bumped up to wrestle in a tougher field once again. And then there was a returning Fargo runner-up Sam Herring in the mix. However, like I said, this weight was so much deeper than just those 4 competitors. For starters, Bo Bassett would get upset very early by the other Rainey brother, Jordan Rainey, who would go on to make the semifinals before losing to the eventual champ Marcus Blaze of Ohio, who wrestled out of his mind to beat Rainey, Knox, and Blum from Michigan in very calculated matches, which were all won by 2 points or less. Great run for him. I have no other way to say it than just amazing. However, another story here is Gage Botero of Pennsylvania, a third place finisher in the state, who also placed third here in this weight at Fargo, beating Bassett in the Conci finals and giving Knox his closest match besides his finals loss. This weight had so many twists and turns, and all the placers, heck, even the round of 12 guys, have a great and bright future in my opinion in this sport. 120 and 16U was a weight where several competitors could win at any given day. However, 126 might have been similar, but it was all Divino, giving Illinois a champ, and he did it without giving up a single point, with his closest match being 3-0 in the finals. 132 was another wild ride, especially for our champion Brock Mantanona, who has just as crazy of a style as his brothers. He was losing several matches and would just do his thing and come back to win. Third place finisher at this weight, PA Maddox Shaw, had him dead to rights in the semifinals, but lost at the last few seconds, and then after that heart-stopper match, Mantanona would go on to beat heavy Minnesota favorite Tyson Charmoli to take home a stop sign for California. 138 was a weight I was really pumped for. We were going to see a rematch of Boiseau of Rhode Island versus PJ Duke of New York as early as the quarterfinals, but in all honesty, this weight was all PJ Duke. Duke got revenge on Boiseau by 10-0 tech fall, and will repeat with a tech fall in the semifinals against Ohio's Woodcock. Then he would finally win a 4-1 finals match over a very tough wrestler in Vince Bouzakis, and that 1 point was the only point he gave up in the entire tournament. 145 was another huge weight for PA in their title run, with them getting second, third, and fourth with 2 semifinalists. The third place finisher Gage and the second place finisher Rath both had themselves incredible runs, but the real man of the weight was Routledge, winning both matches either at the last second or by being very calculated to give Oklahoma a Fargo champ, and he is clearly super tough in this style. Oklahoma actually gathered back-to-back champs at 145 obviously, and then 152 in Lockett, who looks super dominant all tournament. 160 pounds, we had a PA kid really shine and come out of the windworks in Bekru Sadranov, who I believe has a father who comes from Uzbekistan wrestling, which clearly shows why he's so elite in the nature of this style. He was a really fun wrestler to watch all weekend, having a fun semifinals match, along with getting a tech fall in the finals in the first period to win a stop sign over California's Grace. 170 had 2 guys go on really great runs, but Ohio came away with the champ in Gerald Miller Jr., and rightfully deserved. 182 had a lot of promise to be a good final, but in all honesty, it was Sinclair from Wisconsin, taking over the weight and dominating the finals, winning 12-1 over Indiana's very good Dal Capone Vezzi. Sinclair took third at the cadet trials, and it really shows how elite he is here. The second place finisher was also from Wisconsin, and not surprising at all, he would actually go on to win Wisconsin a title at the 182 junior weight class, but we will get to that real soon. 195 had a pretty massive storyline. For starters, our champ was another Iowa guy in Dresgen Ross, winning his title in a 6-4 match over a very talented Vincenzo Lavalli. However, the real kicker is Ross is only 14 years old and a 15U Open champion, so he will be owning this division for a very long time. Alabama also got an All-American at this weight in Mason Ellis, and then Florida also had Steve Mako's son look very well to place 5th here at Fargo, and that is Michael Mako, so another young star on the rise. Then the last 2 weights of 16U were actually really fun. Utah got a champ with Henderson taking out very good Whitehead of Nevada in the semifinals, and then being a really tough fair of California to bring Utah its title. Heavyweight was the summer man himself, Rees of Ohio. He won the cadet duels for the state, along with ending the 16U tournament with a bang, pinning in the national finals. He also just looks super dominant all tournaments, so congratulations to him and Ohio, considering they had 3 champions and finished in 3rd place. Wow, if 16U had that much, just imagine how crazy juniors was. And oh yeah, there was some wild stuff there too, but let's recap the 2 girls divisions first, because these women scrapped in their finals matches and during their tournament journeys. In juniors, California kept with their dominance and took the cake home, but for 16U, it was a totally different story. After the last finals match, the score was tied between California and Missouri, but due to some amazing backside wrestling making the difference, Iowa would win it, which is wild considering they took 20th last year and has significant less amount of wrestlers than both Missouri and California. So very well deserved for Iowa taking home the 16U title, along with having a champion in Molly Allen. I was also really impressed with Michigan, who had several champs throughout the weekend that were some of the most fun individuals to watch at moments, along with Illinois that is really growing their women's wrestling based on their performances. But now let's just dive into a few results and matches that I have been dying to talk about. For starters, Katie Valdez of Colorado was so dominant in 16U 94 pounds, and props to her for bumping up to 100 pounds to wrestle in the junior division as well. However, that weight would be Nevada's Diaz to take it home at 100 juniors. There was actually a ton of double entries between 16U and junior women's, which made the junior brackets absolutely crazy and really competitive. There was also 16U champ Brianna Murphy of Indiana, who took third at 100 pounds juniors. And I would not be doing her justice if I did not mention McKenna Kraft in this 100 pound junior bracket, being the 94 and 100 pound 16U champions to make the finals at 100 pounds. Other great females were Bo of Florida at 106 pounds, winning a stop sign for the Sunshine State. And Florida actually did super well in females, with Julia Diaz of Florida winning the 117 pound bracket as well. 16U 127 pounds actually had a great final, with Skylar Little Soldier of Minnesota winning 3-2 over Illinois' Candace Didich. Soldier actually bumped up to juniors 132 pounds, where she once again made the finals, but took over the silver place spot with very tough Janita Garcia of California winning another super interesting final 6-4. I thought 138 was interesting in both divisions, with Connecticut getting a 16U champion Sarah Hankel, who went on a crazy run. There was also Massachusetts Hammer Skylar Haddendorf, ending all of her matches early to bring a stop sign back to New England. She is just so good, to be honest. It's that simple. 144 pounds was honestly a TrueTan favorite of the week, not just because of the wild match that unfolded in the junior final, but because of the storyline behind it. Sydney Perry of Illinois didn't even make the finals of the 16U bracket, but then navigated her way into the junior finals. However, she did not stop there, where she won a 13-12 crazy match to give Illinois another junior women's champ. Honestly, just awesome for her. Then to close out our women's coverage, we had some studs doubling up stop signs in 16U and juniors. Michigan's Michelle Rebish took home both 152 titles, along with her teammate Sabrina Nas, pinning both of her opponents in great matches at 180 pounds. And then of course there was the amazing run to Savannah Isaac of Ohio, winning both 200 pound divisions to double up in the fantastic final matches. Overall, just based on my past Fargo experiences, this might seem like a broken record being played, but women's wrestling is growing, and it's growing fast. They only keep getting better and better, and honestly on my bucket list is to see an Iowa's women's wrestling duel, so I can't wait for their first official season. Heck, some of these girls I mentioned might even be on the team. But let's recap the junior men's to finish this long video off. To start with my overall thoughts before I go weight by weight, well, remember I said 16U is like the nice preview for future stars? I mean, some of those dudes aren't even in high school yet. However, juniors is like an awesome college preview, and with so many seniors competing, juniors was just unmatched, honestly, and really incredible. For starters, we have to say congrats to Iowa, which just, wow, absolutely total dominance. They crushed junior duels, and they were just, you know, leave a comment below for a better phrase than absolutely annihilating the competition, because that's what they did here. Iowa was just so good, especially the Seabolt guys, to give respect where it's due. To just push that point, let's look at 100 pounds, where Iowa had 3 placers taking 3rd, 4th, and 7th. However, to talk about our finalists at 100 pounds, we had longtime lightweight stud Yabora dropping a finals match to Tyler Garvin of Maryland. I think Yabora will continue to be the lightweight guy for Ohio and a great stud for them. However, Garvin just wrestled great all week and took home the stop sign and the Maryland chicken. I waited till 106 to mention the other team, but wow, how about Idaho getting 4 finalists and 2 national champs, along with finishing in 4th place? Clearly a growing state, and I love seeing stories like that. The champ here was now 2-timer Mac Mauger, who is really fun to watch and honestly really great for the state of Idaho. And he beat teammate Colton Burton, who didn't even make the 16U final, but he wrestled in every division he could, and he made the finals here regardless, taking second place, wrestling great. Also, I noticed something about juniors that might be a coincidence, but there seem to be a lot more questionable calls. Maybe because their matches are 2 minutes longer, but let me just dive into what I'm talking about. Now, there's a couple other incidents I'm going to mention, but I'll start with this Mac Maurer versus Drew Ayala of Iowa semifinal match. And like I said, I think Maurer is a great wrestler, and I'm not saying Drew Ayala should have beat him, but it was an interesting call for sure that shows that freestyle rules can go in a lot of different directions. Ayala did come back and did the next best thing to take third place, so good for him. 113 pounds had two really fun and crafty freestyle wrestlers in the finals, in Hunter Taylor of Missouri taking the title over Deion Johnson of Illinois. John has made some huge gains, but Taylor won a really deep weight and left no doubt he was the best here. Also, last year's 16U runner-up Nathan Desmond of PA lost in the round of 16 and became a backside hero to place third, so I thought he deserved a mention. Similar to 16U, 120 in juniors was super deep, but Jesse Roga of Iowa is just so good and he was just really dominant in this weight class. Also, I noticed in juniors and a little bit in 16U, but the top game really made the difference, and some matches that were really tight were completely blown open by the guy who was more willing to get the points on top. I mean, Horwath of Michigan was up 2-1 at the break over Jesse Roga in the finals, and Jesse Roga ended up teching him 12-2. To really show how deep this weight was, Horwath had teammate Brendan Davis in the semifinals, so he beat 10-2, and he honestly looked really slick here. Jesse Roga also teched Minnesota's Kohler, who is so good in this style and looked really incredible up to this point, but obviously lost in the semifinals and came back to place third. Then we get back to the questionable calls discussion. At 126, Mason Gibson of Pennsylvania was our national champion here at Fargo, and huge congratulations to him. However, he got, let's say, a very questionable takedown over Luke Stanch of New Jersey to win his title. Also, shout out to Luke Stanch of New Jersey, a state runner-up who got several upsets to make the finals here. He is a super mean dump, but anyway, back to the takedown situation everyone's talking about. One thing I will say, I'm really not that shocked that they called that too. In freestyle, you have to be completely around the person to get the takedown. However, if you watch a lot of freestyle, I've noticed when you're close to that out of bounds line and you are somewhat close to a takedown, they normally call two even if it doesn't meet the criteria for a freestyle takedown. I don't really know why referees do this or if it's in the rule book at all, but it's just something I noticed and I think it's really strange. If that was in the middle of the mat, there is no way they would have called it a takedown, but for some reason they always call those on the edge. Either way, this weight was crazy deep too, and congrats to Mason Gibson again for making the finals and winning his first freestyle stop sign. It's not easy to become an All-American, and it's certainly not easy to win at all. 132 was all Alabama star Corey Land, gut-wrenching his way to a Fargo title over Cannon Webster of Illinois to give Alabama another Fargo champion. Shout out to Cannon Webster, by the way. I know he did get teched in the finals, but he's still a really good wrestler for Illinois. To be fair, Land and Webster are very savvy in the style, but Land is just tough and really succeeds in freestyle and Greco, honestly, for that matter. I also can't forget to mention the upset warriors at this weight that made the semifinals, starting with PA's Luke Simcox having the run of his life, along with the first of the two brothers that we are going to look at that made the headlines for the juniors in the Ayub brothers. Omar Ayub beat Missouri's Kale Keck to make the semifinals, and then let's talk about the brother at 138 pounds right now. Ismail Ayub of Ohio, a future Cornhusker, navigated a great field to make the 138 finals, where he met another upset kid in Iowa's Ryder Block, who just wrestled so Iowa style this tournament, and it showed with him winning 12-2 over Ayub, and what a great run for Block, honestly. Key to note, Yesugurin, the top Arizona State commit, did injury default to Block in the quarterfinals, to what I can only assume was a concussion, but Block was winning before the injury default, so still huge congratulations to Block, and best of luck at recovering to Yesugurin. 145 was all Kyle Dunn of Missouri, winning by tech fall over California's Bo Mantanona, who had himself a tournament too. Dunn is committed to Little Rock, and that is a great get for them. 152 had a great top three, but at the end of the day, no one could touch Cody Chittum of Tennessee. He tech followed third place finisher Jude Swisher of Pennsylvania, and then teched in the finals over a very tough New Jersey stud Ty Wallen. Chittum is committed to Minnesota, but he's been taking his visits, so whoever lands Cody Chittum will obviously have a great get. At 160 pounds, we saw another wild call to decide the match. First things first though, congratulations to Riggins of Iowa for winning a Fargo title. I think he could really make an impact in the Iowa room right away, but also to give props to Ruiz, he looked absolutely outstanding this tournament for Team California, and at some points in this finals match, I really thought he was going to take out Riggins. To talk about the call a little bit. I'm not really sure how it was just 4 for Riggins in this exchange, but that's how it was scored, and either way, I believe Riggins would have won the match, and great challenge for Iowa, honestly. 170 was must-watch TV, and a possible Big Ten rivalry forming right before our eyes, with Penn State commit Josh Barr of Michigan facing PA wrestling stud and the Ohio State wrestling commit Rocco Welsh. Welsh looked so impressive and strong most of the match, but then Barr just started scoring so fluently and took over the match 8-5, winning a Fargo title. I think both guys have huge potential on the next level, obviously, and I really can't see many people testing them in their final year of high school. Where Wisconsin dominated in 16U, they do it again with Mirasol of Wisconsin winning the junior 182 bracket. There was a ton of really good wrestlers in this weight, but Mirasol was just really impressive to watch, and Heeg of Oklahoma put up a nice fight in the finals, but Mirasola took second at the cadet trials, so clearly deserved it here. Then moving to 195, and talk about a run for California's Merrill. Let's just hear this out. He beat the 5th place finisher in the round of 16, beat the projected favorite in the bracket in the quarterfinals that eventually took 4th, and then beat Iowa stud Volker in the semifinals, who took 3rd place, before being heavy recruit Rylan Rogers of Idaho, who is heading to Michigan. Just wow, congrats to him, and an awesome run for Cody Merrill, who definitely deserved a stop sign to bring it home to California. At 220, I'm sure it got Iowa fans and coaches really excited, and I'm not really talking about the state, I mean the college. And honestly, this whole junior division probably got that school really pumped up with the amount of placers and champions they had. But at 220, we had an all-Iowa final between top recruit Colby Franklin, who was looking so dominant, and he was taking on Bradley Hill, and honestly, Hill just looked incredible in freestyle here. Hill took the lead very early and kept on the gas and won a Fargo title between two great Iowa commits. Then to close us off before my final thoughts, heavyweight was a really high scoring affair, with Idaho getting their second champ in Ain Atal being Illinois' Dylan Johnson. Honestly, Johnson looked way better in the early parts of this match, but he might have misused a little bit too much of his energy, because as the match got longer, Atal looked better and better, and Johnson really couldn't get the lead back as Idaho's Atal took it home with a great tournament run on top of it. Well everyone, that was Freestyle Nationals for women's 16U and juniors, and of course men's 16U and juniors. I don't even know what to say, like this year was just crazy. It was the biggest Fargo ever, and I mean they had an extra map for this and there was rounds of 256, like what? I think I might just close with what I started with. U16 got me really excited for the future cadet and junior world teams, and I thought Blaze, Davino, and Duke were really impressive, so watch out for them in their next division runs. Michigan's double champs in females was honestly an incredible feat, and then in juniors it was just Team Iowa, like yeah, just Iowa, that is all for juniors. They were so incredible. Well everyone, if I missed your favorite part of Fargo, please feel free to send it in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you have to say. I would also really appreciate if you would like this video and subscribe to the channel for more TrueTan wrestling content in the future. I hope to see you all in the next one, and thank you all very much for watching this very long recap on one of the best tournaments in the land. Now I'd like to wish everyone a great day and take care everybody.